The name of this piece is How Little I Know, written for the Saturday Review series of What I Have Learned. Tell me in 5,000 written words, equivalent in my oral rate to 3/4 of an hour's discourse, what you have learned in your lifetime, said Norman Cousins. That ought to be easy, said I. 3 weeks have gone by. I recall that 38 years ago I invented a routine somewhat similar to muscle development, accomplished through a day-by-day lifting of progressively heavier weights. But my new intellectual routine dealt with the weightless process of human thought development, which subject is known to scholars as epistemology. I have learned that such words as epistemology stop most of humanity from pursuing such important considerations as the development of the thought processes. So my new discipline was invented for dealing even with the ephemeral, which word means conceptual but weightless, as is, for instance, the concept of circularity. But my new strategy required that on successive days I asked myself a progressively larger and more inclusive question, which must be answered only in the terms of experience. Here says, beliefs, axioms, superstitions, guesses, and opinions were and are all excluded as answer resources for playing my particular intellectual development game. However, when lacking any possible experience clues, I saw that it was ineffectual to attempt to answer such questions as, for instance, why I, or why anything. And because it was my experience that some individuals proved as persistently faithful in reporting their experiences to me as were my own senses, the rules of my game permitted my inclusion of such individuals' directly reported experiences in my inventory of experiences for use in my progressively greater and greater self-questioned answering. In playing that game, I soon came to what I assumed to be both the largest askable and the largest answerable question. What do you mean, I asked myself, by the word universe? If you can't answer in terms of direct experience, you must desist from the further use of the word universe, for to you it will have become meaningless. The 20th century physicists, in defining the physical universe as consisting only of energy, deliberately excluded the metaphysical universe, because the metaphysical consists only of imponderables, whereas the physical scientists deal only with ponderables. Wherefore their physical universe excluded, for instance, all our thoughts, because thoughts are weightless. But thoughts are experiences, wherefore I saw that to be adequate to my intuitively formulated and experience-founded controls of my ever bigger question and answer routine, that my answering definition of universe must be one which embraced the combined metaphysical and physical components of universe. Thus my self-formulating answer emerged, and has persisted unshadowed by any subsequent challenges from myself or others, as by universe I mean aggregate of all of humanity's consciously apprehended and communicated to self or others experiences. And later I discovered that Eddington has said, science is the conscientious attempt to set in order the facts of experience. I also discovered that Ernst Mach, the great Viennese physicist, whose name is used to designate flight velocity and speed of sound increments, known as Mach numbers, said, physics is experience arranged in most economical order. So I realized that both Eddington and Mach were seeking to put in order the same raw materials, that is, experiences, with which to identify their special subsystems of universe. Wherefore I realized that all the words in all dictionaries are the consequent tools of all men's conscious and conscientious attempts to communicate all their experiences, which of course is to communicate universe. There are 43,000 current words in the concise Oxford Dictionary. We don't know who invented them. What an enormous anonymous inheritance. Shakespeare used 10,000 of them with which to formulate his complete works. It would take many more volumes than Shakespeare's to employ the 43,000 logically and cogently. In a 5,000-word article, I would probably have use for only 1,000. Are 42,000 of these words superficial and extraneous in reporting on what I have learned? I have learned that you would think so if you ever saw a magazine's rewrite editor at work on my work. What's stopping you? Said Norman. I'm not stopping. I've never started. I can't find the self-starter. Or more truthfully, self-starter can't find me. Oh, there it goes.